This is an epic sci-fi masterpiece released 28 years ago. Its exquisite special effects can still outshine many blockbusters today. The design of the bugs was later adopted by numerous video games. Without further ado, let's start the film. Wealthy heir Rico is flirting with his girlfriend in class. The teacher initiates a discussion on the difference between a citizen and a civilian. Rico actually gives the question serious thought. Later, they go to the lab to dissect the corpse of a bug. The professor tells them these bugs are collectively known as arachnids. The bugs can send their spores to other planets via meteorites. Once the bugs reach a new planet, they will reproduce frantically. So the military formed the Starship Troopers to stop the bugs' advance. Back home, Rico tells his parents he also wants to enlist. He wants to see the vast galaxy. His parents, worried about the danger, forbid him from enlisting, and say they have a surprise for him. A trip to the outer rings of Saturn, where Rico has always wanted to go. But that night, when Rico attends the school dance, he finds his teacher, Arachnids, and tells him his thoughts. The teacher encourages him to make his own decision. So the next day, he, his girlfriend, and his best friend all sign up to enlist. His best friend Carl, with excellent scores, is assigned to strategy. His girlfriend Carmen becomes a pilot, just as she wished. But Rico, with his poor scores, can only go to the Mobile Infantry. This is the most dangerous frontline unit. He's forced to temporarily separate from his beloved girlfriend. The new recruits arrive at boot camp and immediately begin hellish training. The drill instructor says this is the worst batch of soldiers he's ever had. As he speaks, he gets physical with the soldiers under his command. He tells them that anyone unwilling to stay can leave through the failure door. He then asks if anyone in the squad wants to challenge him. A cocky kid who doesn't know his limits steps forward, but he gets his arm broken by the instructor into moves. Fortunately, medical technology in this future world is very advanced. The instructor calls over a medic to heal his arm. Just then, a new recruit arrives to report. A closer look reveals it's Dizzy, who is in love with Rico. She has been chasing Rico for 20 years. In order to be with him, despite her excellent scores, she specifically transferred to the Mobile Infantry. The instructor doubts her abilities. Unexpectedly, Dizzy strips off her jacket and prepares to spar with the instructor. Although she's subdued by the instructor in just 2 moves, the instructor greatly admires Dizzy's courage. Dizzy gets her wish and is assigned to the same unit as Rico. In the training that follows, Rico's performance is outstanding. His skills improve by leaps and bounds, earning the instructor's attention. The instructor decides to promote him to squad leader to test his potential. Back in the barracks, Rico happily checks a video message from his girlfriend, but he receives bad news. His girlfriend Carmen wants to be a career soldier. Her future goal is to become a ship captain and command a fleet. A man would only hold back her progress. So she friend-zones Rico, saying they can just be friends. And just like that, with a few simple words, their relationship is over. However, there's another reason Carmen broke up with him. Her fellow pilot, Xander, has already climbed to the position of pilot. And Carmen, through her own efforts, has become co-pilot. The two have slowly developed feelings for each other. In truth, Rico could sense the breakup was coming. He just didn't expect it to be so soon. Just then, Carmen suddenly sees an asteroid appear before them. Fortunately, she reacts quickly and successfully dodges it. The asteroid came from the quarantine zone near the bug territory. The captain quickly tries to notify Earth, but communications fail. Meanwhile, during a live fire exercise, Rico removes a squad mate's helmet to fix it. But unexpectedly, another teammate shoots the man's head, shattering it. The female teammate whose rifle misfired bears the responsibility and is discharged. But the instructor, who sees great potential in Rico, shamelessly pleads for him. In the end, Rico is demoted back to trooper, and is sentenced to be flogged in public. These events are a huge blow to Rico. He thinks it over for a few days and decides to return home. So he calls his parents to tell them his decision. His parents are overjoyed and welcome him home. Suddenly, the sky on the other end of the video darkens, and the call is cut off. Rico doesn't think much of it, grabs his bag, and prepares to leave. But as he walks out of the hall, he finds the people in the plaza in a state of agitation. The large screen is broadcasting the latest news. A plasma bug fired energy to alter an asteroid's trajectory. The asteroid crashed into Geneva. Rico in Dizzy's hometown has been destroyed. Seeing that his home is gone, Rico reapplies to join the Mobile Infantry. Humanity officially declares war on the bugs. There are many types of bugs in the arachnid species. The most basic is called the warrior bug. They have strong reproductive abilities and are the most numerous. They have hard armor and sharp limbs. They can easily tear a human body to pieces, but their intelligence is low, serving as vanguards and cannon fodder in battle. The second type is the tanker bug, which can burrow up from underground. They are rare in number but enormous in size. They can infiltrate human outposts and easily break through human defenses. Moreover, their antennae can generate an electric current, used to ignite the flammable, corrosive liquid sprayed from their mouths. Its hard shell also provides extremely high defense. The third type is the flying hopper bug. Its sharp wings can easily slice off a human head, and its high mobility can catch humans completely off guard. It is the bug's air force. The fourth type, the plasma bug, is the bug's artillery unit. Its rear can fire high-energy plasma blasts. It can attack spaceships in orbit directly from the ground, or alter the orbit of asteroids to strike Earth. The plasma bug is arguably the greatest threat to humanity. Finally, there is the brain of the bugs. The brain bug is highly intelligent. It is only with the brain bug's command that the arachnids can invade Earth. It can suck out a human's brain to acquire intelligence, but it has difficulty moving on its own and has no defensive capabilities. It usually needs the help of other smaller bugs to move, and it is always surrounded by many warrior bugs for protection. Although humanity already has the ability of interstellar travel, the bugs remain their greatest threat. After preparations are complete, the fleet advances towards the bug homeworld, Klendathu. On the warship, Rico sees Carmen for the first time in a long while. Not long into their reunion, Xander walks over. Seeing that Xander is now Carmen's superior officer, Rico understands why Carmen broke up with him so quickly. He was about to just leave, but Xander kept provoking him. Rico, who was already on edge, finally couldn't take it anymore. He lands a powerful punch right on Xander's face. The two instantly start brawling. Neither gets the upper hand before they are pulled apart by onlookers. Soon, the fleet, traveling faster than light, arrives above the bug homeworld. The soldiers are fired up, determined to wipe out the bugs completely. The soldiers of the Mobile Infantry quickly board their dropships. The captain gives only one order: kill everything that has more than 2 legs. However, they don't know this is a one-way trip. Just as the dropships leave, countless energy bursts attack from the planet's surface. It's the plasma fired by the plasma bugs. Intelligence indicated this plasma wasn't very powerful, so the fleet doesn't even bother to evade. But they are about to pay for their arrogance. A warship is hit directly by the plasma and a violent explosion occurs. The captain immediately realizes this worthless intelligence is wrong. The human fleet is caught completely off guard. In an instant, they suffer heavy losses. Carmen and Xander survive thanks to their excellent piloting skills. And the dropships heading to the surface are also attacked by plasma bugs. Humans believe the bugs were just mindless insects, but it's clear underestimating them will cost humanity a terrible price. To prevent the entire fleet from being wiped out, the Mobile Infantry's first mission after landing is to eliminate the plasma bugs. They arrive at the plasma bugs' location and see 2 giant plasma bugs aiming at the fleet. They fire powerful plasma projectiles from their rears. The captain quickly orders a strike with small tactical nukes. As the plasma bugs fire again, they launch 2 nukes right at their backsides. After taking out 1 plasma artillery position, the Mobile Infantry moves on. Suddenly, a warrior bug appears before them. The soldiers' bullets don't do any effective damage to it. The captain is torn to pieces by it. Seeing this, dozens of soldiers frantically unload their ammo on it. They finally manage to kill it. Before they can rest, they discover countless warrior bugs are attacking. The soldiers are terrified and thrown into confusion. After all, it was so difficult just to kill one. How can they possibly win against so many? Seeing the troops' morale falter, Rico yells for them to open fire. The soldiers snap out of it and unleash a full barrage. But the countless bullets don't seem to have much effect. One of them, somewhat crazed, rushes forward recklessly to take on a warrior bug head-on. He gets himself killed instantly. This scene stuns everyone. They never expected the bugs to have such strong combat power. They originally came here to exterminate the bugs, but instead are being pushed back at every turn. The Mobile Infantry's mission objective has now changed. That is, to escape the bug homeworld immediately. At this moment, a war correspondent is broadcasting live. He wanted to broadcast humanity's heroic charge back to Earth, but instead showed them getting their asses handed to them by the bugs. Then, the reporter is also grabbed by a bug. But even so, the cameraman doesn't flee in panic. He very calmly records the process of the reporter being killed. Then he too is impaled by a warrior bug. Seeing this, Rico opens fire frantically. It takes countless bullets before he finally kills it. However, before he can rest for a moment, he is stabbed in the thigh by a nearby bug that wasn't quite dead. His fate unknown. Because they severely underestimated the bug's capabilities, humanity suffered devastating losses in this battle. In just 1 hour, they lost 100,000 soldiers. The Sky Marshal who ordered the attack on the bugs also resigned in disgrace. Command was taken over by another female Sky Marshal. The new Marshal learned from the lesson and immediately announced a new strategy. Only by knowing your enemy can you win every battle. Soon, the utterly defeated human fleet returned to base. The base was filled with severely wounded soldiers. The death toll had risen to over 300,000. Carmen began to worry about Rico's safety. So she went to the administration office to look up his name. Just as she feared, his name appeared on the screen. However, Rico was not actually dead. He had been saved by an officer with 50 years of combat experience. He was currently receiving treatment in the infirmary. His buddy and Dizzy found Rico and even showed him his own death report for a laugh. In just 2.5 days, Rico's body was fully recovered, and he was even transferred to an elite squad within the Mobile Infantry. And the captain was none other than his schoolteacher, Arachnids. It was he who had pulled Rico back from the brink of death. The new Sky Marshal employed a new strategy. This time, humanity would cleanse the bug colonies. They first used bombers to conduct a full-scale strike on the ground. Once most of the warrior bugs were dead, the Mobile Infantry landed on the surface to hunt the remaining grunts. Following Captain Rosjak's order, the Mobile Infantry split into several units to operate separately. They had to find and destroy the bug nests. Soon, Rico's group discovered a cave. A few warrior bugs came walking towards them. Seeing this, Rico decisively raised a nuke. Just after blowing up one cave, the group received a rescue request. Rico's group arrived just in time. Their powerful firepower instantly repelled the remaining warrior bugs. However, could things really be this easy? Suddenly, a giant tanker bug erupted from the ground. Ground troops couldn't fight a bug of this level. They could only retreat quickly. One of the squad members was a step too slow and had half his arm burned off by the fire sprayed from the tanker bug. The captain arrived just in time to save him. At this moment, Rico had a sudden idea and ran up a hill. He took a great leap and landed on the tanker bug's back. He grabbed his gun and just unloaded on it. Soon, a large hole was blown open in its back. The tanker bug tried to throw him off, but Rico held on tightly to the open wound. He then pulled out a grenade and threw it inside. The explosion completely destroyed the bug. Captain Rosjak's was very pleased with his performance. He promoted him directly to corporal. This human campaign was a complete success. That evening, the Mobile Infantry held a victory celebration. Rico and Dizzy, two lovers, finally got together. Before they could get intimate, the captain suddenly opened the tent to inform Rico that a forward outpost had been ambushed by bugs and they needed to reinforce it as soon as possible. But seeing Dizzy under the covers, the captain decided to give the two a little more time. Early the next morning, the elite squad set out for the forward outpost. On the way, a hopper bug suddenly appeared and snatched a radio man. The captain knew he was a dead man. To end his suffering, he asked for a subordinate sniper rifle and put him out of his misery with a single shot. Subsequently, the squad arrived at the outpost. However, the place was a wreck, littered with bodies. There was no sign of the bugs, and there was a tunnel in the command room, clearly the work of a tanker bug. Then the captain found a soldier who had died a gruesome death. His head had a large hole in it, and the inside was completely empty. Even the captain had never seen this kind of death before. Suddenly, a sound came from a nearby locker. When they opened it, they found a terrified general. He brought important intelligence. There is a new type of bug that sucks human brains, and it can also control human consciousness. The distress signal was sent by it, controlling the radio man. Rico immediately realized they had walked into a trap. Sure enough, the alarm sounded the next second. Countless warrior bugs were approaching the outpost. The captain quickly arranged for the soldiers to lay down suppressing fire. When the bug army entered firing range, the soldiers immediately opened fire with everything they had. However, there were simply too many bugs. The humans' efforts to hold them back were negligible, and there were also a great number of hopper bugs attacking from the sky. Their sharp wings easily decapitated soldiers. Rico and his group dodged an attack and managed to shoot one down, but the falling bug landed right on the general hiding below. Seeing the situation become more and more desperate, the anxious captain asked for a status on the call for help. They finally managed to contact headquarters. By this time, the warrior bugs were already at their feet. The ones behind climbed over the top. Soon, bugs were using their comrades' corpses to successfully reach the top. Everyone concentrated their fire to take one out, but then even more bugs climbed onto the high platform. The captain turned his head and saw countless more bugs on their way. If they keep fighting, they'll likely be wiped out. At this time, Rico reports that the evac ship is on its way. The captain quickly tells the soldiers to retreat. The last teammate providing cover is impaled by a bug. Soon, a large number of warrior bugs leap onto the platform, and the squad is about to run out of ammunition. Fortunately, the evac ship finally arrives. Everyone quickly runs towards the ship. Suddenly, the floor of the outpost shakes violently and then cracks open. The captain, who was standing on it, falls right in. Something underground is attacking him. By the time Rico and Dizzy pull him up, the captain's legs had been completely gnawed off. The captain then orders Rico to end his suffering. Rico, with tears in his eyes, fires his gun and then resolutely leaves. The next second, a tanker bug erupts from the ground. Seeing this, Dizzy throws a high explosive grenade. Unexpectedly, the tanker bug cooperates and swallows it whole. And just like that, she easily blows up the behemoth. Dizzy dances with joy. Suddenly, a warrior bug rushes from behind and impales her. Everyone quickly concentrates their fire to rescue her. Then they carry her onto the evac ship. They finally leave just before the outpost is completely overrun. But Dizzy's injuries were too severe, and she couldn't be saved. An enraged Rico goes to the cockpit. He finds the pilots are none other than Xander and Carmen. He's in no mood to deal with old acquaintances. He directly requests that the fleet bomb this planet. But the captain says the Sky Marshal has other plans. Rico becomes very angry and scoffs. Mobile Infantry does the dying. Fleet does the flying. Later, the evac ship reaches the fleet. They hold a grand funeral for Dizzy. Just then, an officer walks into the funeral. Unexpectedly, it's Carl, who has been rapidly promoted. He has now become Rico's direct superior, and he was the one who issued the mission to this planet. It turns out they knew about the brain bug's existence all along, so they send the mobile infantry to find the brain bug's location. And now they have a rough idea of where the brain bug is. He then issues them a new mission: capture the brain bug alive for research. Only by fully understanding how the bugs think can they win the war. Before leaving, Carl promotes Rico to lieutenant, officially taking command of the elite squad. Soon, Rico leads the elite squad down to the planet's surface. A new batch of young recruits also joins the squad. Just as Rico gives the order to capture the brain bug alive, the plasma bugs nearby have already begun to act. They fire countless plasma shells at the fleet in space. And the fleet, still not having learned its lesson, remains clustered together. Countless warships are destroyed before even fighting. And this time, Carmen's warship is not spared. It is blown in half. Seeing this, the captain quickly orders an evacuation to the lifeboats. However, while covering the rear, he is cut in half by a falling blast door. From the entire warship, only Xander and Carmen manage to escape. Meanwhile, Rico learns that Carmen's warship has been destroyed. A worried Rico quickly grabs the radio to ask about her condition. Her broken voice comes over the radio. Suddenly, an escape pod flies overhead and crashes right into the bug's lair, delivering takeout to the brain bug. Carmen quickly grabs the walkie-talkie and calls Rico, reporting her position. But as soon as she finishes speaking, several warrior bugs appear before them. The two quickly grab their weapons to fight back. But after a short while, Xander is knocked to the ground. Then a warrior bug pierces his thigh. Carmen tries to help but is stabbed in the shoulder. But the bugs don't kill them immediately. They just pin them in place. Then many small bugs swarm out of the hole and look at the two. All the warrior bugs step aside. The small bugs carry out an exceptionally fat brain bug. It stops in front of the pair. Knowing he is doomed, Xander hands his knife to Carmen. He then spouts some trash talk at the brain bug. The brain bug, hearing this, plunges its proboscis into his head. It quickly eats his brain completely. Then Carmen is brought before the brain bug. At the critical moment, she pulls out the knife and slices off the brain bug's proboscis. At the same time, Rico arrives with a nuke. The intelligent brain bug knows the weapon in his hands is extremely powerful, so it doesn't dare to attack him. It quickly retreats into the cave under the cover of the warrior bugs. The group quickly flees with Carmen, but by now the brain bug has already escaped back into the cave. The remaining warrior bugs immediately launch an attack. The group can only fight back, but there are simply too many bugs. One of them is quickly and seriously wounded by a warrior bug. Rico wants to take him with them, but he instead takes the nuke from Rico's hands, intending to take the bugs down with him. Seeing this, the remaining three quickly flee. Before they can even get out of the cave, a huge explosion occurs behind them. Fortunately, the three of them manage to escape successfully. When they exit the cave, they find the soldiers outside celebrating. They are all cheering. It turns out they captured the brain bug from another entrance. Carl walks up to the brain bug and senses that it is terrified. All the soldiers erupt in fervent cheers. Afterward, Carl tells Rico that the one who captured the brain bug was Instructor Zim from boot camp. And now, Zim has to call Rico sir. They have won this battle, but humanity and the bugs still have many more fights ahead, because the bug colonies have spread throughout the galaxy. But now that they have captured the brain bug, Carl is confident they can find the bug's weaknesses. He believes it will play a crucial role in the coming war. And here, the film ends. Starship Troopers is definitely a work ahead of its time. The film was released in 1997, using the most advanced special effects technology of its day. Even today, some productions cannot surpass its visual effects. The film's subject matter was very novel at the time, depicting a very creative and realistic arachnid species. They have multiple types and methods of attack. The bloody scenes also gave the audience a strong visual impact. The classic design of the bugs was later adopted by many subsequent films and games. Although the film is a sci-fi piece, it contains a profound reflection on war as a whole. Humanity wages a great war with the bugs to stop their expansion, but they also pay a terrible price for underestimating their enemy. Moreover, the Earth in the film is a giant empire. It broadcasts propaganda films daily to brainwash the youth. Hot-blooded young people, not yet fully mature, enlist one after another. They lose their freedom and are sent to the front lines as cannon fodder. The director was quite daring for his time. Lead actor Casper Van Dien became famous overnight from this film. His performance in the movie is excellent. He enlists thoughtlessly at first, then sees the cruelty of war, and begins to reflect on his actions and his so-called beliefs. Later, after losing his family, he returns to the military, gradually maturing in the war to become a qualified leader. Although the film is controversial in some respects, it is undoubtedly a successful sci-fi movie. Overall, its themes, effects, and novelty are still excellent even today. It is well worth watching. Alright, That's it for this video. If you enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my channel. Your support is my greatest encouragement.